Good morning. We're going to think of two verses this morning that could be said to have changed this world forever. Luke chapter 2 verse 6. And while they were there, the time came for a baby to be born. She gave birth to her first child, a son. She wrapped him snugly in strips of cloth and laid him in a manger, because there was no lodging available for them. I want you to take a few seconds this morning just to answer this question. I want you to think, how many people have ever lived on this earth? Now, if I was telling you that living today on this earth are 7,913,517,060, nearly 8 million. But how many have ever lived? Hit pause and take a guess. It is estimated that 117 billion people have lived on this earth throughout time. I want you to listen to this verse from John chapter 3 verse 31. He has come from above and is greater than anyone else. We are of the earth and we speak of earthly things. He has come from heaven, is greater than anyone else. 117 billion people, that's 117 with 9 noughts after it, but only one from heaven, and he is greater than all. And he chose to be born as a fragile, possibly 7-pound baby. Not in a place where a king would usually be born, a palace, but either a cave or a stable or a place where there were domestic animals. Mary, after going through hours of labour in that place, wraps the limbs of this child in strips of cloth to keep them protected and lays them in a manger. A feeding trough, possibly even made of stone. History changes forever. Our calendars change forever. Time changes forever. In that moment, with the cry of a child, God had come near. As one writer in the New Testament puts it, God had moved into the neighbourhood. Or as that carol puts it, veiled in flesh, the Godhead see, hail the incarnate deity. And as Jim and Zach have reminded us over these past few days, so gentle and so humble. Listen to these words from Max Lucado. Wide awake is Mary. My, how young she looks. Her head rests on the soft leather of Joseph's saddle. The pain has been eclipsed by wonder. She looks into the face of her baby, her son, her Lord, His Majesty. At this point in history, the human being who best understands who God is and what he is doing is a teenage girl in a smelly stable. She can't take her eyes off him. Somehow Mary knows she's holding God. So this is he. She remembers the words of the angel, his kingdom will never end. He looks anything but a king. His face is prunish and red. His cry, though strong and healthy, is still the helpless and piercing cry of a baby. And he is absolutely dependent upon Mary for his well-being. Majesty in the midst of the mundane. Holiness in the filth of sheep manure and sweat. Divinity entering the world on the floor of a stable through the womb of a teenager and in the presence of a carpenter. God had come near. He has come from above, and the only person that has ever lived out of 117 billion that has come from above. And folks, he's closer than you think today. As the old song goes, he's only a prayer away. And years later he will say, as that call still reverberates down the centuries of time to the 16th of December 2021, come to me, come to me.